My 47 female, 23-year sober husband, 48 male, has been repeatedly lying to me about taking kratom. I apologize in advance for the long post. I, 47 female, have been married to my husband, 48 male, for almost 20 years, 20th anniversary in a couple of months. I met him at our work before he got sober, alcohol and cocaine, but didn't get to know him until he came out of rehab. We have had a pretty great marriage, 3 kids together as well as my son from a prior short marriage, and he is a great dad. Our issues over the years aren't different from anyone else, getting older and changing, getting in ruts, kids, money, etc. typical stuff that we have mostly made it through unscathed. However, around 4 years ago, I discovered that he was secretly taking kratom, and that bothered me because of the potential for addiction as well as the fact that he hid it from me. He didn't lie when I asked about it, just played it off, that he didn't tell me about it because he didn't think it was a big deal. He says he uses it for energy because he is a 1 meal a day guy, only dinner, and sits at a desk all day. We had a good talk about my feelings around it, and he promised not to take it anymore and said he would find alternate sources of supplemental energy. A year and a half or so later, I found a bunch of empty kratom bottles hidden in a box in a closet. I asked him about it, naturally upset, and he apologized for lying and hiding it. We fought about it, and I pretty much said that I don't like it, but I definitely don't want to be lied to about it. I gave him an out and said that if he insists on using it, just do it out in the open, but he swore he would stop using it because it makes me uncomfortable. Now, what I didn't realize at the time was that I already knew the signs of when he was on it. Mood swings, quick to anger, etc. So when he started exhibiting that type of behavior, again, a while later I asked him about it, and he said he wasn't taking anything, just stressed with work. Fast forward to last November, and he and I were searching for an item of our son's and couldn't find it anywhere. So we went to see if it was possibly in our room. We were looking under the dresser when I moved to look under his nightstand, and he freaked out and started telling me to just keep checking the dresser. I knew immediately that he was hiding something, so I looked under the nightstand and sure enough, hidden empty kratom bottles. Now mind you, at this point our marriage had been struggling for a couple of years, and I kept attributing it to me going through perimenopause, and taking some serious blame for my mood swings causing our fights, our teenage son and his anxiety issues, and his going off to college, and all the stress of having a college athlete, etc., etc. That is to say, in my eyes there was always a reason for my husband's anger and stressed behavior. But finding these bottles was like a light bulb moment for me. He had been acting that way because of being on kratom. I was also super upset that he lied to me again after swearing that he would never again because I and our marriage was too important to him. I gave him an ultimatum of quitting kratom and going to counseling to work on our marriage, or he could leave. Keep in mind, we don't hate each other. In fact, if we separated, we would still spend every holiday together because that's how close we and our families are after over 20 years together. Our parents are even best friends, so we went to counseling for a month, then the holidays hit and we didn't have time, and worked on our communication and even addressed his kratom use and how that affects his personality as well as the effect the lying had on me. He also went to a couple of AA meetings and said he wanted to go more, but only went to those 2 and then stopped. But things were better for a while, so I didn't harp on him about not going to meetings. Well, he has been exhibiting some of that same behavior for the last several weeks, and I had a gut feeling, so yesterday, on my work from home day, I decided to ask him about it calmly. "I know you are taking kratom again," were my exact words, and then I left it for him to respond in any way he wanted. He hesitated, and then his eyes welled up, and he admitted that he had been taking it again. I reminded him that I told him just 3 months ago that I wouldn't put up with it any longer, and he cried and begged me and promised again that this time he really would stop, and that there would be no lying ever again. I told him that he had to leave, but that I would be there to support him if he decides to do rehab. He said that was ridiculous, and that he wouldn't go to rehab for kratom. I reminded him that he is 23 years sober, and that this may be legal, but he is 100% treating it like a drug. To me, that means he has a problem that he needs help with. He doesn't see it that way and swears he can kick it without any type of rehab. He begged, and I mean begged me to let him stay, and swore that me and our marriage was the most important thing to him, and he can't lose it. He says that he will never touch it again, and never lie to me again. I told him back when we were in counseling that I no longer trust him, because he lies so easily to my face, and so I reminded him yesterday that I no longer trust him, and what trust he had been building back since November has now been blown away. He says that he will do whatever it takes to earn my trust back. He said that he would go and get kratom-specific drug tests and take them whenever asked without hesitation. I told him I have to think about it and that I need a couple of days and that we can talk about it again over the weekend. I truly don't know what to do. We had already been getting more and more distant and seemingly less and less in love over the last couple of years. I've attributed most of that to just us getting older and becoming different people as we age and life changes happen. But now I truly don't know what to do. I need advice. I love this man with all my heart. He is my family. But are we still meant to be together as a couple or just best friends and co-parents? I'm so lost and confused and don't want to make the wrong decision, especially since we still have kids at home. Help. TL/DR. After 20 years of marriage, I've repeatedly caught my husband lying to me about taking a legal drug kratom. Last time I told him I would no longer put up with it, but now I don't know what to do. I love him, but is it better to end things now or stay together for the kids and try to repair things? How many times does he have to lie and hide his addiction before you leave? He's had multiple opportunities to fix this and chose drugs every time. There's no reason to believe this time he means it. Your husband is the very opposite of sober, pensive face. Kratom is no joke. He needs rehab. You should insist if you're going to stay. M25 F26 I feel more like a roommate than GF. Advice? I'm AF26 and my boyfriend is AM25. We've been together for about 3 years and living together in my home. In the beginning we spent a lot of time together, but about a year into the relationship he said he needed more space. I respected that, but since then he stays in his room almost all the time and only comes out briefly. We don't share a bed, and intimacy has disappeared. When I try to talk with him or even spend time near him, he sometimes reacts as if I'm bothering him. I've gotten to the point where I feel anxious knocking on his door. Recently, I overheard him telling a female friend that he feels isolated, and when she asked about having a girlfriend, he said it's like living with a sister you don't always hang out with. I've tried to discuss how distant things feel. He avoids the conversation and says he doesn't want to leave. He currently lives with me without helping financially. When I asked about helping, he became very upset and said he can't save money if he helps me. But I later learned he has been sending money each month to someone he knows from online. This situation makes me feel insecure and more like a roommate than a partner. When he reassures me, it doesn't match how he behaves day to day. What can I do to make it better? Is he over me? Too long did not read. Boyfriend moved into my home and gradually withdrew. No shared bed, no intimacy, avoids me, doesn't contribute financially, and sends money to someone online. He says he feels isolated and compares living with me to living with a sister. I feel like a roommate, not a partner. He's using you for free housing. Kick him out and move on. I think it's because you're living with a squatter now and not your boyfriend. Doesn't help financially, doesn't spend time with you, doesn't even share the same bed, said you're like his sister. None of these are boyfriend things. I don't want to leave because then I actually have to be a financially responsible adult instead of using my girlfriend's house as a crash pad girl run. The only thing you're getting out of this relationship is used. Advice needed. I am 36/F and I'm married to a 38/M, for years married 6 together. His parents are lovely. We eloped after my parents begged me not to marry him. They've resented us both since. They throw it up in my face all the time that I've changed since meeting him, and not for the good. That translates to I found my voice. They made decisions for me until now. And if they didn't and I made a decision they didn't agree with, they would pressure me until I changed my mind. My parents are difficult, to say the least. The other day it got pretty heated between my dad and I, and he told me to get out of his house. I was upset and vented to my husband. My husband became super protective of me and went and got into it with my parents about it. He told me he did this because I never have anyone who sticks up for me. 2 wrongs don't make a right, and I know that. My parents threatened to get a protective order against him. No physical harm, just yelling. I was shocked. They also told me as long as I'm married to him, I'm cut out of the will, and he's never allowed back at their house. It's made the situation between my husband and I strained. I feel like I'm in the middle. My parents aren't angels in the situation for sure. Advice? Where do I go from here? TL/DR. My parents hate my husband. My husband hates my parents. Now I'm in the middle. What do I do? Where do I go from here? You made your decision 4 years ago, and you've got to stick to it. Frankly, Get counseling because they won't change, but you can change your own reactions to your parents. You side with your husband. He is your primary family now. If need be, cut your parents off. Woman, you are 36 years old. You are letting yourself be controlled by your parents. You choose to be in the middle. You need to pick a side and set boundaries with your parents, and husband for that matter. Husband frequently gets angry over small things. Am I missing something? My husband, 38M, and I, 38F, have been together 17 years, married 7, with 2 children. This morning he got very upset because we ran out of eggs. When we bought groceries last, we were short on money, and I chose to buy a dozen instead of a larger pack. We ran out before payday and needed more because we had friends over for breakfast. He became angry and said I never listen, and that I should stop trying to control everything. He then left the house and didn't return while our guests were here. This isn't an isolated incident. Similar situations happen over small household things. Towels not washed yet, needing petrol sooner than planned, etc. He often reacts with anger and raises his voice. I feel the reaction is disproportionate and disrespectful. He feels I don't listen to him and says I treat him poorly. We seem to have poor communication and end up arguing over minor issues. I try to do a lot for our household and children, but I often feel criticized and spoken to harshly. Am I missing something here? How do we break this pattern and communicate better? Too long did not read. Husband regularly becomes angry over minor household issues and says I don't listen. I feel disrespected and confused about whether I'm contributing to the problem. Looking for practical advice on improving communication. He has an anger problem. The pattern is the problem, not the incidents. He's not regulating, and you're becoming the safe target for his unmanaged stress. Sounds like he needs a scapegoat, and it's sadly you.